So we don't need that on yet. All right, get these screens taped up. I'm ready to go. Actually, let's register them first. Buttons aren't sticky enough. I think that one's about shot. These lasers can be so annoying sometimes. We'll go with that. Top of the second dot. That's right, Rye. Up late, man. Just haven't had a chance to print during the regular hours with the day job and life going on. Yeah, I hear you. That's what the fatigue mat's for. My legs are going to be hurting. My back's going to be hurting. Getting too old for this stuff, man. Rye, you need to join Fort Worth locales. No, I don't. I wish I had a dip tank. Rye, I was going to tell you, man, you should join the new group that I put together, the Print Crew. It'd be cool to have you. theprintcrew.com. No, I wish I had a dip tank. That would be nice. I've debated getting one and almost pulled the trigger a couple of times. But they're so freaking expensive. Like, why? It's just a big plastic tub. Why is it so expensive? Yeah, right. It's just theprintcrew.com. But I'll email you something. I'll email you something. Reclaimed screens. I had actually printed a bunch and got to where I had 0 screens left. And I burned all these yesterday and 2 more under here. So 8, 9, 10. I burned 10 yesterday. But I had to reclaim 12, 13, 14. All 25 of my screens I had to reclaim. I don't normally have to do that all at once. That took a couple of hours. The dip tank would have been so much faster. Yeah, it probably would. You know, honestly, the trash can might even be better because I think the sidewalls might hold up a little better. There may be an old 55-gallon drum repurposed with a drain at the bottom. You can get those pretty cheap. Looked into them at one time because I was going to make a drum smoker. But yeah, I just don't know why they're so expensive. It's one of those things. There are a few things in the screen print industry. There are a few tools and items and stuff that I'm like, why is this so expensive? Does it really need to be that expensive? Like the pre-registration templates. Like, yeah, Rye doesn't want to reclaim. I don't blame you, man. It sucks. I need to get my wife doing it because she loves to power wash. So I need to just let her do it. But one of the things that I think is, that I've always thought is stupid, the price of it, is the pre-registration template. The transparent ones that Ryonet sells. I'm sure other places sell them too. I mean, Why is that $100? That's not $100. It should not be $100. That's why I give mine away for free. Like, I know mine's just a digital file, but still, like, that always frustrated me that I didn't want to spend the $100 to get one because I just didn't, not that it won't necessarily bring $100 of value. It's just that at some point, even if something's going to bring value, I just can't bring myself to pay the money for it, you know? Like houses out here in Colorado. Sure, it'll give me a nice place to live, but I can't bring myself to spend the money on a house that I know is not worth that. So it's just why I rent. But the pre-registration tin was just one of those things. And the dip tank is one of those things. Like, why is it that expensive? Is it that expensive? Oh, another one. I've been thinking about getting into, yeah, the markup is stupid. I've been thinking about getting into, or getting one of the kits to stretch my own screens. I forget what that's called, but it kind of clips in, and I'm just tired of, the tension kind of goes away on these after a while, and I don't know. I've just been considering it. But a tensometer, tension meter, I don't know how you say that word. They're like outrageous. Why? Why are those so expensive? Like, at this point, I feel like if I do make that leap to jump into the, doing my own screens, the easy screen, I forget what they're called, something like that. And, I've wondered that, right? I haven't looked into it deeply. I usually get stopped at the tensometer or tension meter cost, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get into this because that's so expensive. I was going to order it off AliExpress or Amazon, because even then it's like $100, less than $200. But at Ryonet it's like $400, isn't it, or $300 something? It's just stupid. But if anybody does their own screens, I would love to know what the cost, how the cost comparison is to, just buying screens. Rye, have you ever sent any screens to get rescreened? Like any frames because I've got a couple of frames that are busted. I've got one, I'm even using one today that's got a hole in it in the middle, but the rest of it is totally fine. And that hole has been there for, 5 years now. And the screen has never busted the rest of the way. So I'm not worried about it, but I have other screens that have, the glue has come loose, or it actually does have a hole in it somewhere. And so I was trying to find a place I can send them to get re-screened. So if you have any recommendations, repurpose the frames for what? Like decor? Or are you making stuff out of metal? Like, I'm all about that too, if there's some cool ideas. I mean, the truth is, I build in the cost of these in pricing, right? So a couple of jobs and the screen is, you've paid for a screen and you use it over and over and over and over. So I've used some of these for, more over 5-6 years. So I've gotten my money's worth out of them. So if I can't get them rescreened, it's not the end of the world. What screen? Where do you get your screens, right? Everybody keeps talking about, is it Graphic Screen Supply or Solutions or something like that? Everybody seems to like a table or a picture frame. Yeah, I can see that. All right, I can come up with something cool. I can maybe do some decor down here. Maybe frame out my shop shirts, all the different shop shirt designs. Where do you buy your screens from? Anybody in the chat, where do you buy your screens from, if you don't mind sharing? Get rid of the donkey poster. I don't know about that. They've been playing like donkeys for sure, but still a fan. And for those of you in the chat, that Garrett gentleman that made the nice donkey comment is my boss. So, hey Garrett. Let's see, we got white, we got the light, and the medium. All right. Garrett, how did your printing go tonight? I know you were testing that out, so how'd it go? Sweet. All right, we'll take a look. All right, let's get my warp drive added. A smaller rag. Thanks, Rye. Hopefully I'll catch you live tomorrow. There's white. Now the light pink or peach, tan, whatever this is. Kind of flesh tone. I'm going to do a little at a time for this, not too much. I think it's going to go a long way, but we'll see. I'm going to do a little more. Yeah. Yep. It's a Comfort Colors shirt. C1717 is the model. style, whatever. I don't really like it either. It's just a thick shirt. It's just not one I'd want to wear. All right. Let's do some printing. See how this goes. Yeah, they do. You know, they're the garment dyed, and the garment dyed fashion, the type of shirt, they're just, the dyeing process just opens them up to further fading. And for some reason, I mean, it's meant to have that washed, faded look, so it's kind of intentional, but I just don't care for it. I mean, I don't mind the look. I don't care for the feel, the wear of the shirt. They're boxy. They do shrink because they're cotton. So just not my thing. And printing on them, printing the water-based ink, they really soak it up because they're just thick and cotton and absorbent. So they really soak up the ink. All right, Messengers is the light. Frontier's the dark. All right, let's do the white first. Don't need much. And I hope I have, yeah. Sorry, that's loud. Let's do the white with the wooden, metal with the other two. I don't love these squeegees either, but I've liked the wooden ones. I think they're fine. All right, what else do I need? Let's do this color. I'm just adding it to the screens. I don't want to cover up the design any because I'm going to use it to register. So I don't want to get any ink in the design yet because it'll make it harder to see. So I'm going light to dark, underbase, light ink, dark ink. It's typically the way you want to go if possible. It doesn't always work that way. There's two ways, light to dark or small to big. So the smallest print area to the largest print area. Or you can even flip that and go the largest print area to the smallest print area. But most of the time it's small to large. But usually when things that are, they're all kind of fairly small, I go light to dark. That's typically the pattern that you want to take. It's not like you're going to come out with a bad print necessarily if you don't do it that way, but it usually makes things a little more accurate more often. All right, let's see what we got. I'm going to do the white underbase, and then I'm going to line up the others to it. I'm going to grab a different shirt. I don't necessarily want to test on the shirts that I'm going to print on, even though I do have extras. So I'm going to find something else here in my extras box to test with. Send that one. Problem is my extras boxes are full of nice shirts. We'll just do some of these. These are old. All right, well, that one's small. We'll use that as a rag. Good, I'm glad that was helpful. Good to have that to call back on. I'm telling you, loading shirts is the most frustrating part. When you're just getting started, and even now, like when I'm doing these lives, it's not unusual to watch me like really mess with a shirt because I'm just obsessive over getting it straight, and it just doesn't seem like it's straight sometimes, and it's just a frustrating part of the process because I find it difficult to do. All right. So screen's good and open, so that's good. Everything's going through. So I'm going to go ahead and flood it so that it stays nice and wet, as you do with water-based ink. Always need to flood after you print. And I cured these. I exposed them, let them dry, or aired them dry with the air hose with my compressor. Not the whole screen, but just the image and the moisture around it, so it's not dripping down in it, because that can drip down into your design and mess it up. But then I took them out in the sun. We finally had a day of sun, or half day of sunshine out in Colorado. So I set them out in the sun to post harden, which helps with the water-based printing too. All right, let's see what we got. So when you're registering these things, you don't want to push back on the back of the screen. You want to push right down on the screen itself, right over the design. Push back here, you're going to get a different location because this is not where you're putting pressure when you push the squeegee. You're putting pressure here. So when you're pushing here, you're recreating the pressure that you're going to be adding whenever you actually are printing this with the squeegee. So push down right on the design itself. I need to back it up. Go over. And I kind of pre-registered this with the registration marks on my template, and then I like to just do the final touches on the design itself. I find that works best for me. All right, I think that looks pretty good. One thing you'll notice too, when I tighten these back up, it clamps this back down. So try not to have them too loose because the screen will kind of fall. So when you tighten them back up, it lifts back up, which then changes your registration a little bit. So sometimes you have to kind of compensate and have it. I like to push print, so I have it a little bit barely offset this way, because when I'm pushing the ink, I'm pushing the ink over that way. And so the design actually does shift just a hair. So I align the screen just off on this top side. That is perfect. And I'm a little surprised. Perfect first shot. But I will take it. Want a late night snack while I print? All right, let's see what this last one looks like. So I'm taking these loose, but then, I don't know if you can see that on the, yeah, a little bit. I'm just barely going loose, you know, so that it still keeps the pressure on that plate and keeps that tilted the way it normally is. So. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Off contact's a little high. All right. Fingers crossed. Not bad. I need to tilt it a little bit. No, I might actually flip it and print this one first and this one second. Because this one chokes this one, it wraps around it. And so if this one potentially overlaps this any, it shouldn't. It should butt to butt. But it's going to make this act like an underbase and it's going to brighten this on those edges. So it'd be better to go the other way, I think. Just try. I'm going to need to wash that out or wipe it out. Using Aqua Wash. This is what you wipe out this water-based ink with. Excuse me. All right. I got it on my squeegee. Never fails. All right, I think that's pretty good there. Need to go over a little bit more. Got that platen getting really hot. I've totally moved it on that one. Shifted too much. Let's cure it and do another test. I guess I enjoy the challenge. But not more than I enjoy just printing itself, and really love the one color. I like wearing the one color designs. You know, I think most of them look better than multicolor stuff. Multicolor has its place, but I just don't love it. But have I seen an increase in productivity? Yes, with the new press, only because of the registration that's on it. Having the XYZ registration makes a huge, huge difference. So it's not even the size of the press, it's just the extra registration, because I had joystick and it was awful. Well, it was great to learn on. I outgrew it. Ow, God, that's hot. Yeah, that's way off. I think that's pretty good right there. Still a little bit. It's probably good. I just see one little hair of a line. Hey Gus. Garrett, yes, the overwhelming majority of the orders I've done since 2017 have been one color. A few two colors here and there. Most people choose a one color. It's easy, it's cheaper. I think it looks better. Now I gotta shift this one a little bit because I moved that other one. Gus, remind me, where are you calling in from? Not calling in, watching, whatever. South Dakota. I might be able, this is so light, I might be able to get by without the underbase on it. It's worth a try. I also don't like that these Comfort Colors don't have a side seam, so I use that seam so often to line up my shirts. So I don't like that it doesn't have that. I'm going to turn my laser back on now. So I'm going to use this. My collar is going to determine where the print is because it's 4 inches down to the center of the print from this edge. But the laser is going to help me line it up with the edge of the collar because this is in different locations of different size shirts. And I'm trying to line up the left chest print. I always try and line them up with this seam of the collar where the shoulder seam meets the collar, line up, within a, ½ inch here or there, either side. But so, you have to line up the shirts a little off center a little bit. But so I grab it, pull it back. That's close enough right there on that corner. And then the neck seam is right here at the edge, which is going to put that print 4 inches down to the center on it, right like that. So now, I don't know if I want to see what this looks like without an underbase or not. I do have extra shirts. Let's try it. Because if I don't have to do an underbase, that's always a win. Let's just see what. No, there's no way. There's no way. I'm just going to put this right over top of that. Yeah, I'm going to keep testing on this one and not load up the finals yet. Oh, San Diego. Sorry, it's SD. I'm thinking South Dakota because we're, that's closer. San Diego. All right, so when you layer up water-based ink, is it noticeable from a feel laser when you go beyond excess? No, I don't. Well, so let me answer in reverse. I don't have to remove the laser because the screens are not moving. This is still the center of the design. And so this is still getting me the alignment for the design itself. And the shirts are what move. So as I get larger shirts, the center of the shirt with the smaller one, it was almost to this side. And as I get, the extra large and 2X, the center of the shirt will actually be like over here. So I have to move it on the platen because the artwork's not going to shift and the laser's not going to move. It's the shirt that you have to move left or right. And then, yes, when you're printing water-based on an underbase, another one of the reasons I don't like multicolor, because I love the soft feel of water-based so much. And multicolor having an underbase just kind of negates it. So I like it better without the underbase when I can. So I like lighter shirts and inks that don't require underbases. Like white ink would be fine. I don't necessarily love white because it's also thick. So it also takes away from the nice soft feel of water-based. But whenever I print white for my own stuff, I usually do like a more faded vintage style white, like what I call a one-pass print. All right. So here's a little trick. This is something you do every now and then. I don't really want to fuss with realigning that. I've got really tight registration on this artwork. I'm looking up here like you guys can see me. I have really tight registration on this artwork, and I don't really want to fuss with shifting the screen up or down and risking the white showing off one side. So I'm just going to push and then pull, and that's going to push the ink a little further down and a little further up when I pull it up. And so it's going to get me better coverage, and I don't have to readjust the screen. I can keep it where I'm at, and I can go ahead and start printing the rest of the shirts. Let me clear this one out so that I can see how it lines up. All right. I'm happy with that. You guys can kind of see. So I have this pulled, the laser, I pulled it up to the top. It actually I bumped it. I had it at the top of the print. All right, pop it loose. Start curing. So I'm going to go a little bit lower. I don't always have a full press. Screens like this, it's heavier, so it keeps shifting and then gets in my way. I'm going to leave this one open because I like to start on my first platinum, my first arm, one, because it helps me remember whether I've done a certain pass. So I'm going to leave that open so that I'm not starting on two since I've already just finished that one. All right, shifted. I must not have had that tightened. What's happened? I had this happen last time. I don't know how I'm so off. Something's, maybe my platens are loose. That one's not. Those two are way off. Something happened. Yeah, this platen was loose. Dummy. I never moved them, so I forgot that it was loose. I forgot that I had moved them. I took one off and put a kid platen on to print shirts for my son. Just forgot, like a dummy. This one I already tightened up, I think. So used to flooding, but I gotta leave it open so that I can see. God, I don't understand how they're so off, every single one of them. Oh, there it is. White was loose. That's what I get for multitasking and live streaming at the same time. Nope. Almost pulled it off. Gotta keep it there. pay attention. God. I was planning on printing this one last, so I keep thinking it's the last color. Hopefully the last round of adjustments here. If you're still watching, let me know in the chat where you're at, what questions you might have. Give me that thumbs up if you like it. And go check out theprintcrew.com and screenprintingtoolbox.com. Two new resources that I just put together for the screen print community recently, so trying to get some members into the print crew and get some feedback on the... Gus, you still there? All right. Gus, remind me, is printing your full, it's not your full gig, right? Are you just getting started too? And have you printed with water base yet? Excuse me. Not very polite, is it? Nice. So I've not been printing much longer than you have, man. There's probably a whole host of things you could teach me. In fact, you should go join the print crew so that we can share tips and feedback and stuff with other printers too. Side clamps is nice, I'm betting. I'd like to have that. It's really coming out light on this white. I wish it was a little darker. Maybe I'll do that. I just won't push as hard. Yeah. Much better. Sometimes I get caught up just pushing down too hard. And with this water base, it's yeah, I haven't watched any Liberty Prints videos. I should. I've seen Vega print, I think, once or twice. Rye, of course, I love him. The print life is just kind of stopped. I mean, he hasn't posted anything in like 2 years, which is a shame. He had a lot of good stuff. He was a little rough for me sometimes. What's the guy's? Oh, what's the rogue printer guy? Lee Stewart. It also can be a little rough for me sometimes. I just don't have the same vocabulary as those guys, so I can only take so much of it. But they're good at what they do, so it's just, you know, you got to watch it because they're good at it. Lee puts a lot of hard work into his stuff, and he does a great job. And Print Life was great too. I'm not sure why he stopped, other than all I can guess. I mean, even Lee hasn't posted a tutorial video since, like, I think he posted one last December maybe or something, or it's been over a year actually, maybe 2 years since he's posted a tutorial video. They've just been like, you know, look at the new equipment I got, look at my new shop, and it's awesome because it's fun to watch. And it's fun to watch that stuff and think, you know, hey, maybe someday that could be me. So I love that those guys are still doing videos, but like that. But I think what happens with these shops is, you know, they just get so busy. It's a great problem to have, and no shame on them. Like Golden Press, those guys, I love those guys, but they haven't posted much content because they're just swamped, because they're killing it. They're doing an amazing job, and that's the goal, right? So it's good. It's good to see shops able to do that, because it gives encouragement that the rest of us could do that too. You know, I've said many times I'm not necessarily trying to go down the same path, because if anything is going to grow of mine to where it becomes a full-time thing, I want it to be this stuff, the teaching stuff, the startup screen printing side of the business, the coaching, the one-on-one stuff, the, you know, group coaching, online courses. Like, that's the future I want. So I don't see my shop getting so busy that I'm not going to be posting content, because I want that part to grow more than my shop. So I think that's kind of what's a little bit different about my approach, is just because I want to do this part full time, not necessarily run a print shop. I want to run a print shop, and I want it, if it grows into full time, sure. I'm not going to say no to that. But all that to say, I do love those channels. I wish they were able to post more how-tos and stuff. Chessie, I think it's Chessie, over at Squeegee and Ink, has actually been doing a ton of great stuff. She's constantly doing what I'm doing, like answering questions and posting how-tos and stuff. So I really enjoy her stuff. I'd say a place like San Diego, there's quite a bit of business go around. I had actually about a couple of months ago, maybe even a month and a half or so after I started doing all this stuff, Bruce from Printavo reached out about doing in-read ads in the videos, like if there were any room for that. He just asking, and I told him I was happy to have a conversation about it, and he never responded, so whatever. I didn't really want to. I was going to talk to him about just get information and understand what that is like, and how to deal with it, but I didn't really want to do it because I don't feel like something like Printavo is necessarily relevant to the audience that I'm attracting, the people who are just getting started or who are, 5 or so years into their business. Because, first of all, you don't really need shop management software unless you're doing it full time and you have employees, really. I mean, it's just not, it can save you some time, but it's not a necessary expense, I don't think. But also, people who are just getting started or a few years in or 5 or so years in, $100 a month is a lot of money. So, I don't know. I just didn't really feel like it would have been a good thing to have advertising to my audience, because I don't want to seem like I'm just taking advertising for the sake of money and just to make money off of this stuff. I want to promote things and talk about things and support things that are actually helping people grow their business and that I truly believe in and I use myself, and I don't use Printavo. So I didn't really feel comfortable about it, but like I said, I wanted to talk to him just out of my own curiosity, but he never responded, so I just considered that answer enough. But he was the only one that's really reached out for potential ad revenue or not really sponsorship or anything. The president of Ryonet, Brandon Schmunk, I think is how you say his last name. He reached out like the first week I started posting videos. And he just wanted to chat. And that's just simply because Ryonet's really good at and really big on supporting people who are creating content around screen printing and encouraging further education and training and stuff. So, they like this stuff, and it's good for their business that we're teaching other people how to do screen printing because it's getting more screen printers in the industry, so it serves them well. So he just wanted to reach out and say, hey, I support what you're doing. I like it. Keep going. Let me know if I can help. So that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that conversation and getting to know, leadership when Ryonet. He was part of the founding team with Ryan Moore. So he was part of the band that Ryan was in, that they started the screen print company, which eventually turned into Ryonet. So that was cool. But other than that, no, haven't really had any, but I haven't pursued any either. I haven't reached out to any myself. I've debated, but I really, again, I don't want to come across to people that I'm just in this to get a sponsorship or to make money. I want to make money with this, but I want to make it because I'm helping people learn and grow and build crazy big businesses. So I want to make money because people are paying me to help them, because I can help them, and because if I can't help you, I don't want you to have to pay for it, or I don't want you to be bombarded with advertising or things like that. So I don't know. Right or wrong, I just don't want to come across in the wrong way to people. And it looks like I'm not going to try and pronounce your name because, as I've mentioned before, I'm from Tennessee. I can't pronounce fancy names like that. But you're just getting into it. What did you say? I want to purchase a screen printing press. What should I be looking for? Well, I think it depends on what you want to do, what your goal is with this. Are you looking to, you know, make a legit business out of this? You want to do it for fun? You know, something like that. So, and what your budget is. If your budget is, you know, $2,000, well, you might want to get something small like a Riley 250, 4-color 2-station, or a Riley 150 4-color 1-station, because you can then take the extra money that you have. You know, a Riley 4-color 1-station is going, a 150 is going to cost you, I think, like $400. So if you have $2,000 to spend, you know, you can get a press, you can get an exposure unit and a flash, and, you know, rent screens out in the yard, you know, make it work. So I think it just depends. If you've got 10 grand, then, you know, maybe you go for the like a 300 like this, or, you know, something a little bigger. But I think it depends on whether you are for sure you really want to do this, and what type of business you want to create out of it. Is it just for fun? Or is this you know, you want this to be your career? Then you need something you can grow into, not something too big. You know, like this 300 that I've got, 8-color, 6-station. It's a little big for just getting started. But that's, I mean, if you've got the money, it's fine to start with. So I think it depends. And really, I wouldn't really stress too much about getting something, well, I'm afraid I'm going to outgrow it or something like that. Like, if you do, you're probably going to have the money and business coming in that's going to pay for the fact that you outgrew it. So I don't worry about that. And, you know, limitations, you might say, well, I need 8 colors so that I can have that as an offering. I printed since from 2017 to just now 2 years now, so to 2021. So what is that, 4 years on a 4-color press, doing a ton of work for people. So it was plenty. 4-color, 4-station is what I started with. I think that's a great way to start. You know, I don't know that you're going to have a ton of problems per se. I mean, not anything that you wouldn't be faced with any press. I mean, it's not going to be that press that's going to cause the problems. I mean, you're going to have problems anyways, just with screen printing. Crap happens. I mean, you go back and watch the beginning of this video, or when I first started printing and printed first rounds, I kept having to make adjustments, and you know, crap happens. It does every time. Even to the seasoned printers, you know, stuff goes wrong, problems come up. So you're going to get that with anything. But I would say make sure that you have micro registration, at least XY, which is, you know, X or Y. So make sure that you've got micro registration. The off contact is going to be adjustable, whether it's with a wrench or with a dial. Z registration is not as important when you're starting out. I mean, it's helpful, but at a minimum, get XY, get aluminum platens. I don't know. Yeah, that should be fine. Aluminum screens. I use a 20 by 24 screens. They work great. Plastisol ink is more forgiving, or not more forgiving, it's the wrong word. It's more popular because it's easier to work with, it doesn't dry. Like, I may not do all these shirts tonight. If I were printing Plastisol, I could just leave the ink in the screen and go to bed and get up tomorrow and do it and finish next week. Water-based can't do that because it dries. So if I'm done for the night, I'll have to clean out the screen and then do it all again the next day. So decide which way you want to go, water-based or Plastisol. But I don't think you're going to have any issues beyond what you wouldn't have with any other press, just because you've got that 4x4. Gus, maybe you can chime me in if you agree or disagree, but my thoughts. Agree. Sweet. Aside from all of that, though, I really wish I knew how to pronounce your name. Vaibhav? Vaibhav? I don't know. Aside from all of that, don't be afraid. I mean, the truth is, you're going to screw up. I screw up. I screwed up a week ago. You know, you're going to screw up. You don't get better unless you screw up, honestly. Like, you make mistakes and you learn from them. You fix them. You do it different the next time. Even when it comes to customer orders, I mean, I have some really loyal customers that I screwed up big time on. Like the first order screwed up, but I made it right. And I, you know, went above and beyond to make sure they were taken care of, and they understood that, yeah, I'm human. I'm gonna make, I'm gonna make mistakes, but I'm gonna make it right, and you're gonna get what you paid for, and you're gonna enjoy the experience of doing business with me. So Don't be afraid of screwing up because you're going to screw up. Look forward to the screw ups as opportunities to make adjustments and make things better. That's right. It's part of the journey. It's going to happen, so embrace it and make good from it. Shoot, I don't know if I gave that enough time. I think I'm going to finish this round of shirts. Call it a night. One more. We're going to be done. Got about halfway, a little over halfway. All right, I'm going to check out. I'm going to clean up, call it a night. Thanks everybody for watching. We will see you next time. Don't forget, if you haven't already, join the print crew, theprintcrew.com, and check out Screen Printing Toolbox, screenprintingtoolbox.com.